Hey guys, Martin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today we were expecting, or at least some of us were expecting, some news regarding upcoming EZAs, or at least the next wave of content that we'll be releasing for the Global Dokkan campaign. And unfortunately, as I'm sure you guys are aware if you have checked yourself, nothing was posted today after all. So I had a quick look around and I did find this post from Rick, who we've mentioned many times before, is one of the data miners, goes through a bunch of the stuff in the files in the game and is usually pretty accurate when it comes to predicting exactly when things like data downloads and stuff like that are going to be based on the information that is available in the files. And so he made this post. I don't know how I didn't see this because I do follow him, but this was a couple of days ago now. So upcoming dates. Data download on July the 16th Japan time. We know this because LRTN's Prime Battle will go back to its usual stamina cost. So the special event for the Prime Battle TN being easier and quicker to farm ends. And that's something that will be fixed with a data download. So we know that we are getting a data download on the 16th. Japan time means obviously they're quite far ahead of both UK and US time zones. So there is the possibility that this means that the data download would be on the 15th in the US, or potentially like early morning in the 16th for me, maybe early morning US, afternoon for JP. So around the 16th is when we would expect a data download. So it says new content likely on July 17th at 1 o'clock GMT. This is when the home screen banner for the team battle event from the countdown ends. So not only does the home screen music end on this date mentioned by Proton, but this is also when the home screen banners for the GDC special battle and part 1 itself end on global. Might be another experimental thing, since usually part 2 would start days before the banner. And this is a post that Proton made from one of the previous data downloads. Super Dynamic continues to play until the 24th of July. So with the OST and a bunch of the different home banners for like part 1 stuff, that pretty much is telling us that part 2 of the celebration is going to be starting on the morning of the 24th GMT, so like the evening of the 23rd US, which is not this upcoming Wednesday, the Wednesday after. So the big question is, like, what is going on in terms of this next week for content, right? Because if we're getting a data download on July 17th or 16th, usually the way things work is we'll get stuff revealed on Twitter, then there's a data download the next day, and then the units or whatever they are, EZAs, are in the game the day after that. Sometimes we have seen the reveal and the data download be on the same day. We've also seen the reveal and then the data download and the units come out on the same day. They've been doing things a little bit differently over the various different releases over the last couple of months, which is a little bit annoying because it makes it trickier to pinpoint exactly what they're going to do. But obviously, if we had seen anything revealed today, the usual cycle is Sunday morning for me, I know Saturday evening for some of you guys, Twitter reveal, then Monday data download, and then Tuesday the release, right? Tuesday morning or Monday evening for the US is usually when content generally comes out, things like EZAs and new stages and stuff like that. But if this data download isn't going to be until the 16th, then we potentially will be waiting until even the morning of the 15th to get any reveals for any EZAs or anything like that. So that is essentially another 2 days from now. Now, this is a little bit disappointing, just because we've had the conversation over the years many times when it comes to Dokkan and celebrations, and how a lot of the time they'll release a huge amount of content, and then they don't do anything for like a week or so. And some people, some people go crazy and do basically everything on day 1 and then complain that there's nothing to do. But even when you're not doing that, it's good to have stuff spread out in like little chunks. I feel like it's always better to be logging into the game one day and have too much stuff to do, and then that gives you options and you can do whatever you feel like doing that day, than obviously logging in and there's nothing to do. So you just kind of do your dailies and then shut down the game, right? So the anniversary, the 10th anniversary, I think handled this really well. I don't know if like we went back and actually picked out all of the dates, which is very difficult to do because there's not a lot of, I don't think there's any sites that really keep all of that information. The wiki used to be really good for that with the timeline, although it would still usually only show like newly released units or EZAs. But if we go back and see, like for everything when it comes to EZAs, new stages of events, all that kind of stuff, even if it was only one stage of an event, it really felt like during the 10th anniversary that stuff was coming out like every few days, and it never really felt like there was an extended dry period. And the Global Dokkan campaign has obviously been really, really good so far. I think most people would agree. Started off strong, like loads of stuff came out on the first day of the celebration when the banners dropped. Then obviously a couple of days later we had the Super EZAs and then the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will boss rush stages. And obviously that was like Thursday morning UK. And this is being recorded on Sunday. And obviously we haven't seen anything else since then, nor have we seen any news. So the problem is, if the data downloads on the 16th and the like news content, whatever it's going to be, is coming out on the 17th, that means that they essentially waited an entire week between just releasing 2 Super EZAs and then 2 stages for the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will stage. And then it's like, that's your lot for 7 days, which is a bit of a shame. I know celebrations have done release schedules similar to that in the past, but with this being touted as like an anniversary level campaign, I was kind of hoping that the pacing would be a little bit better than that, but I guess we'll have to see. Obviously, if the data download is going to be on the 16th, I would expect news on Twitter. I mean, if we're lucky at the very earliest tomorrow, but then it's potentially almost 48 hours until the data download, so it's unlikely. It's more than likely to be Tuesday if the data download is on Wednesday. But I guess we'll have to see, because we know we've got to get some kind of content, because we still have those 2 missions for part 1 I talked about yesterday in the video, the tickets that you can collect in order to do that 50 ticket summon with a 44% chance of getting the new unit. There's still 2 missions that are in the panel missions that are just question marks, and it says the mission will become available soon, where one gives 2 tickets, one gives 3. So that makes me feel like they're going to be 2 sort of different things as well, because they give different rewards. Someone in the Discord was saying, like, what if the missions are just like do the EZAs for like the 2 potential EZAs that we could get? But I don't know why they would make one give you 2 tickets and one give you 3. So it feels like we could be getting at least a new stage of something, as well as potentially an EZA in order to get those remaining ticket missions. But I guess we will have to wait and see. Now, when it comes to what we will potentially see, obviously did a video talking about these guys the other day, the 2 very, very anticipated EZAs, the Vegeta and Trunks and the Fusion Zamasu. I feel like these guys are 2 absolute top prime choices to be dropping as EZAs to fill out this final part of part 1 before we move on to part 2, which of course seems to be more so themed around GT. Kind of makes it feel like they sort of have to get all the Future Saga related buffs out like during part 1, and then they'll start moving on to the GT related stuff in part 2 with Omega and whoever the Carnival LR is going to be. So these guys obviously very much anticipated, will be very good buffs for the new LRs teams that have just come out. And there's a couple of other things we could potentially see. We talked about this on the podcast last night. Shout out to Toon for being a guest. Shout out to anyone who did check it out. Make sure you check out the Slot 1 Super podcast if you have not already. It's 2 weekly Dokkan podcasts with me, Minato, and Vilify. And we had Toon on as a special guest last night for the GDC Part 1 special episode. But yeah, this guy potentially getting a Super EZA as part of the celebration, we think is definitely still a possibility. This would be another really good like free-to-play upgrade from this celebration, with us already having the Zamasu Goku Super EZA in the free-to-play clones team. So this guy getting a really good Super EZA I think would definitely be very, very good to end out the celebration. And then we do also have now of course this is the funny when it comes to Dokkan and just seemingly forgetting that sub-EZAs exist, right? But if we're going to get the Vegeta and Trunks EZA, then there is also the banner unit from their release, which is the base Goku Black. Now this guy getting an EZA as well would obviously be really, really good, because currently in terms of actual like top level meta relevant characters. There isn't a base Goku Black on the new team, right? The Int one that got his EZA during the 2023 Worldwide honestly wasn't even really that great when he got his EZA. And then the physical Super EZA base Goku Black has aged out pretty significantly as well, especially when it comes to some of these tougher bosses. Now this guy very much is a blank slate. He just gives support to future Saga allies. He builds up attack and defense when receiving attacks, and then after he's received a certain number of attacks, he's effective against all types. So this kind of structure for a support unit is not great for difficult content. So if he's going to build up with each attack received, like, he definitely needs to be given some sort of like guard or damage reduction, or, you know, like the big boost of defense on hit. Otherwise, you know, with this guy ideally wanting to be a floating support unit, he's not going to be getting hit a lot depending on where the attacks are stacked up. I mean, sometimes you get a lot of attacks in slot 3. But yeah, this guy getting an EZA would be really, really good for that team, because we have a lot of, you know, units named Rose Goku Black with the Int 1, Physical 1, AGL 1. We've got the clones. We've got the potential for the Int Zamasu to get an EZA, but we don't have like a relevant base Goku Black currently. So this guy getting an EZA as well would be pretty cool, but of course that would involve them having to do these guys EZA. They could do the typical thing that they've done in the past with these sub-EZAs, where it would just be missions for, like, you know, you complete the mission for beat the Vegeta and Trunks Extreme Z battle, and then it just gives you the extra set of medals to awaken this guy straight away. But of course, as I say, that means them actually doing another sub-EZA, and we have seen some recently, but for a very long time it feels like Dokkan had forgotten about sub-EZAs, so I guess we'll have to wait and see. But that would definitely be, if we managed to get all 4 of these before part 1 ended, that would be pretty awesome. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think we will see for the final week of part 1? Hopefully the data download, like we say, will be coming Wednesday, so Twitter news I would expect Tuesday, at the earliest tomorrow if we're lucky, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. So let me know all your thoughts on the Global Dokkan campaign so far. How do you feel about like the pacing and the amount of events and everything we've gotten? I know if you're someone who doesn't play the game a huge amount every day, you might still be happily in a place where you've still got stuff to do, so just let me know all your thoughts in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.